You have not. 1, 2, 12. You have not. You probably have, actually. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've been waiting all week. And I came on a few days ago, so it hasn't been a week that you've been waiting. It definitely hasn't been an entire week. Hi, Joy for Life 149. It definitely hasn't been a week. 1, 2, 12. I know you will rush in. I'm happy to see you changed your profile picture, Joy for Life 149. Um, I changed, oh no, that's on my other account. I'm going to change my profile picture because it's a few hairstyles old. And usually when I change my hair, I change the profile picture because new hair, new profile picture. You have to have a new profile picture once you change up your hair. And I'm really loving like this cocoa brown color. It's been my go-to lip color. And also my shirt, because my shirt is this color, so it's spilled over. So, what a good day it's been. I'm just waiting for everyone to come in to the live. Um, and you are always happier with a donut. You're always happier with a donut. Maybe with a hamburger too. I also think by the water, because I was telling my mom that. I was telling my mom how you can be sad and cry, but it is nicer to cry if you have to, in a way of sadness. I would choose to cry by a pool or an ocean or a stream. I don't want to cry by tall buildings and loud um, traffic. I'm wonderful, thank you. It's just like that saying, do you want to try cry on a bus or in a Rolls Royce? Like you get to choose. But being next to water, typically, not all the time, because there's a lot of places that are cold, but they have water. Sometimes the thought is there's a body of water, so it's warm. That's not always the case. What's up, York 2700? And I thought about that when I was moving, like when I moved to Hawaii. I knew I wanted to be by a beach, but there's beaches in New Hampshire. There's beaches in Ireland. There's beaches throughout England. So just because you're by a beach doesn't mean that it's going to be warm. Thank you, York. What's up, Lady P? But also, there's a vibe to a cold beach. Like, you go out to the cold beach and you have a nice, thick, knitted sweater and like a hot coffee or cocoa or tea. You can have, yes, you can. You can choose where you cry, Jay. And let's say you're correct. Yes, of course. Crying is a response. If you've chosen to live in a beautiful place, you have the choice of going to the pool or the beach. That's what I'm saying. And this comes from me living a bunch of places. I will only live where I want to live. If I have to cry, if it's a bad time, I typically don't want to cry where there's broken glass everywhere, buildings, no nature. That's what I'm saying. But if you haven't had that experience, you don't know. I've had that experience, you see? Simply because I chose where I wanted to live. Not this is where I live, so I have to be sad in an ugly location. I don't like ugly, and I don't like ugly locations. 1212, thank you for liking the live on TikTok. I'm also on live on my Hope is Speaking channel and on Twitch. I opened up my Twitch and I saw, I'll say this. I saw it said that the finest on TikTok. I mean, yeah. It said last active 2 years ago. The last time I was on my Twitch. And I remember when I chose to show up daily online, I chose what I could do consistently. Thank you, 1212. Let's continue to like the live. If you're in the live, double tap the screen. I mean, why wouldn't you? As well as my YouTube live, like the live. So what was I saying? That I got to choose where I live. Finest. Oh, I chose platforms that I would be consistent on. So I knew a short form platform like TikTok opposed to IG. It's not outdated. It just isn't my preferred method. So I chose TikTok, and then I chose YouTube for long form content. And I chose those two because I knew I would show up regularly. There's no need to start doing something and choosing all of these social media platforms or outlets, but you're not consistent. It will be too heavy of a workload. So anyone who is in content or with anything, start with digestible pieces. There's no need to say, okay, I'm going to do TikTok, IG, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. You're not going to be able to. And if you're not going to be able to, you just will not look forward to it, because the thought is, I'm not even showing up. And you don't feel good when that happens. So to show up on one platform, or like TikTok and YouTube kind of mirror each other. So it would be easy to post on one and then post on the other. Hello. And so when I opened up my Twitch and saw that I had not been active for 2 years, I was okay with that, because it was, and I've seen this especially with the Streamers University, showing up anywhere can have its own set of challenges. But if you're choosing to stream or go live or show up on any social media platform, what you need to understand is it's not that it's hard, but consistency is. This is why most people don't do anything, because it's not that the task is hard, but consistency is hard for people. Most people, this is why they, yes, thank you. This is why they, thank you. What's up, Danetta? Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate you. I love to see your name and the diamond when it enters my chat. You may want to run, jog every day. I don't care if it's outside or gym. You're saying, I'm going to jog. Great. Yeah, dedication is commitment. Like, it's all the same words. It doesn't matter if you don't follow through. So it's not that anyone needs anything. You can need it and not have it. You can need it and not have it. You can need money and not have money. You can need something and not be in the process. So, listen, I wouldn't even label myself as that. I probably have something like that. But I would never I would never carry that label when I'm referring to ADHD. Even if I was, no, you have money. If you say you need, that means it's not you. You are the money. You have money. You are the money. So if there's a need, that means you're separate from it. You are the money. And even embodying that, wait a minute, I am the money. I am the money. And a lot of times, yes, and not only do you have plenty, you are the money. You are the currency. You are the energy. You are the love. So if it's a lack of, it could be just a lack of belief. And a lot of times there's a lack of a belief in the way that money or prosperity is yourself. Sometimes it's I only have money if I work. Well, if you only see that as the only way, then of course, because you're going to think if I don't work, I will never have money. And that's just, I understand, that's logical. But it could be that someone gifts it to you, or you win the lottery, or you enter a sweepstakes, or you cut the lawn so well, someone says, hey, can you teach me how to do this? And they pay you to do it. Or money comes in all forms, and currency comes in all forms. Yeah, but even Jay, and I'm talking to someone on my YouTube live, consistency demands effort, and effort can be minimized by being consistent. The only thing you need is a lack of fear and willingness to do it. Okay, Jay, that sounds great, but that's exactly why there is no follow through. The only thing you need is a lack of fear. That's what stops people. So to equate it down to something as simple as all you need is a lack of fear, most people are fearful of everything. Fearful of trying, fearful of failing, fearful of being successful, fearful of being seen, fearful of having money, fearful of not having the money. So yes, but it would have to be broken down into something so minimal, which I believe is belief. If I believe I can have it, I'm going to do it. And that's why I'm crazy. There's nothing that I don't believe I can do. If it's being an astronaut, if it's learning a language, learning how to write music, learning how to build a car, I believe that I can. So I just do all the steps. It's not that I'm fearful. I may have a fear, especially if I have not done it before. But the fear won't stop me because I still believe I can do it. I have a fear just because it's something I haven't done. There are elements that I'll have to get used to. There are things that I'll have to learn. I may become frustrated, all of that. Yeah, and I still believe I can. So many people just don't believe that they can, so they don't. Thank you. The courage to try. But courage, again, it's not even courage to try, it's courage to walk away. I believe I can have what I want. So if I'm in a relationship and it is not exactly what I want, I believe what I want is in the universe. So now this will come from after communicating and rationalizing. Now, even that thought is a lot shorter. But if I believe I can have what I want, I'm not going to not have what I want. I will walk away from a place, an old version of me, a relationship, a friendship, a job, a hair color, because it's no longer useful anymore. I don't want anyone to change. And here's the thing, I talk, you listen. You want someone to change. You can't, well, you can. You were essentially telling me how you would see it. I don't want anyone to do anything but show up how they are in that moment. In fact, that's the only way I see people. But I've really studied people, being a flight attendant, and I love people. I love connection. So I don't want anyone to do anything because I can want you to do so. Again, I can want something and not do it. I see action. That's in a person or myself. I want something, I believe it. I can believe that I want it, but I have to act and do the steps to do it. What's up, D-Way 111? Where you been at? You've passed like 2 different hair colors, okay? D-Way, that's how I see things. Like, we are like 2, maybe 3 different hair cycles away. Cause yeah. Like, we've grown it, we've cut it, we had highlights, and we went a lot deeper, darker. I like my brown. I love every hair color. I do love, no, 1 to 12, I will do what I want, okay? I always love a honey blonde. I always love blonde. I love blondes. But every hair color looks great on me. And I do it myself. I purposely wanted darker roots and to like get my grays, and I did a great job. Thank you, Majestic. I love that. Lipstick is matching the top. So I just believe. Again, most mofos don't believe. And you don't believe because of made up reasons. I can't, they won't, when I have the money, I'll probably get tired, it probably won't work. It is hard. I'm in one of the hardest spaces in my life because I've always done what I wanted. I've always done what I wanted, and I've always believed. And now it's like, yeah, I will only do what fulfills me, what's meaningful, and what I want to do. That includes people, jobs, occupations. Like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Well, if you're being stretched, flexibility is a great thing, but being stretched can actually break you. So if you're saying you're being stretched, again, flexibility is great. Flexibility in our body is what I do every day, because when you're flexible, you bounce back. But you do not want to stretch to the point that you pop a ligament. And sometimes that's what I'm saying. It will take walking away. Like, I'm not being stretched for anything. I say I'm not tolerating. I'm not dealing. If I have to say, oh, I don't like dealing with it, I'm not going to deal with you. I will engage. I will fellowship. But if I have to deal with someone, that means it's like on a very boundary heavy basis. I probably don't want to be around you. I just won't. I'm very honest with that. And also with flying, and I've done whatever I wanted since I was 22. I'm not going to school. I'm not doing this. I got on with the airline, and then I've been traveling and living around the world, away from anyone I knew. So I don't have to pretend. I've had several phases, but I've walked away when they were done. Sometimes I was kicked out because I refused to walk away. But there's phases, and understanding those phases, and also understanding the courage it takes to try to walk away, to like just exists. But what's the other option? Courage to be what you want? Courage to feel bad? Courage to shrink myself? I'm well out of my flight attendant season because I was thinking about that. Um, it's been 5 years since I've been a flight attendant. And it's still always like releasing from me. It always comes up whenever I travel. And the other thing is like, as I love to travel, but everyone on my TikTok live and my YouTube live, everyone combined times a million is the amount that I've traveled. Like, and I've lived traveling. And I've always loved it. This was the reason why I started flying. I traveled as a kid and with my family, and my father loved traveling, but my father would always teach us the importance of expansion of how you see yourself through the world. So as soon as you travel somewhere, things are different. The food in the regional area may be different. The That's great, Eurus. That's great. You've seen, because sometimes this is where I toot my horn with travel, because I know people like, oh, when I travel, like when you've been to like 4 countries, chill out. When you get to 50, we can talk. I have far more than that, but like, chill out. I will be that person because I've been in rooms with people who are like, hope 70 countries. I've seen every country, or I'm at 125. There's always more to see. So it's not even really a brag. It can be until you're around someone who has far more than you. But more than that, I've lived the world. Yeah, well, then it's time to travel. You need to get out of this country. It's a crazy place. It is not helpful if you're a human. Leave as soon as you can. And I mean that. So, expansion of your mind, because the language may be different, the food may be different, how people speak, how people engage in business, how they dress may be different. Thank you for continuing to like the live. Yeah, and it's again, let me call you in on that. That is your label of it. To me, it's just been my life. It's not a flex to me because also it was the same for my family, but all of my flight attendant friends, we were always traveling places. So it wasn't ever seen as something to diminish anyone because everyone was doing it. But if, again, when you're around even different group circles, social circles, someone who has not seen that may feel less than, or that it's competitive or bragging. Again, that is that person's label. It doesn't mean it's my intention. And learning whatever you put out, a lot of times your intention may not be received. Yeah, when I've said that, I can brag. When people talk about, oh, I went to Paris, I've lived in Paris. I used to spend weeks there, months there, the south of France, the south of Italy, since I was 22. I've been doing this so much that it's like, of course, you wouldn't do that. It's not a flex, but most of the time the people flexing, they're not really flexing. They haven't really, they've been there once. I'm talking about people who do that regularly, a couple times a year, definitely every summer. They're there for 3 months. Not you had to plan a year in advance to go for 6 days. There's a difference. And as soon as a kid, my father loved to travel. My sister's actually at the Grand Canyon. She went to go see, my sister went to go see Kendrick Lamar and SZA in Phoenix. And then they were going to, hold on, the Grand Canyon, which I love. That was one, I loved the Grand Canyon. My dad, my whole family went, but my dad loved the outdoors. He loved to fish. He loved the outdoors. He loved the national park system. And my dad hiked the Grand Canyon when he was a young man on a donkey, camped out at the bottom. So when we went as a family, we went to the Grand Canyon. I think we also went to, we did the Grand Canyon. We did Utah. And you can see all the salt flats in Utah. And anyway, the Grand Canyon is beautiful. Go. Take a weekend and go. It is beautiful. What's up, Nia? And thank you for continuing to like the live. I don't know, continue to like the live because I typically have far more people. I don't know why. What's up, Detroit, Sean? Why? It'll get back up. I will just keep talking. However, continue to like the live, put hashtag FYP so we can push this out to more people and it can get to the For You page. So the Grand Canyon is beautiful. My sister is there now, and she went to the Kendrick Lamar concert, and she is going, I think they're going on a road trip to Vegas afterwards. But we would take like 2-3 weeks and do this. This wasn't like driving 18 hours. Thank you, Danetta. Thank you, 1212 for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Some people hear road trip and they just think driving for 14 hours in a hot car. I'm not doing that. Like my dad, this was back with AAA. He would plan it out. He would plan out the rest stops. He would plan out the different cities or cute towns. And we would stop and stay at the Marriott there and get a nice, go eat, maybe do some shopping, take a day or two off. Because when you travel, you have to include rest days. You have to include rest days. And most of the time, thank you, Danetta, for sharing the live. Thank you, thank you. Thank you both for sharing and liking the live and putting hashtag FYP. I appreciate you for that. Most people, when they travel, they're like, we're going to go and we're going to shop and we're going to eat and we're going to... You need days off. Like, I like to... The day that I get in is a light day. Even the day I arrive is an off day. The day after is an off day. By the third day, I'm ready to probably shop or do things, but I go away for a long time. If I'm going away, I'm going away for at least, I like to say a month anywhere, because I like to live in a place. And as I share that, a lot of people won't be able to experience that because of restrictions for their job, or even the thought of like, how can I travel? There's not a favorite. I'm the favorite yet. I am the favorite. It's me. And I've spoken about this. Having a favorite is for people with limited vision. That means this place is better out of everywhere. I've been to far too many places. And I say that because there's something favorite about everywhere I go. I find a restaurant that I like there. I find a body of water or a hike or something. But there's no one place. I've been to many places. If you haven't been to many places, it's easy to say, oh, this is my favorite. I've been to 3 places. No, I've been to thousands of places. They're all great in their own way. They're all my favorite in my own way, but I'm my favorite. I make it great. Same thing with friends. I'm the straw that stirs the drink. We're always going to have a great time. I love a waterfall. Well, that is, I love a waterfall. That is the key to my heart. Yeah, a key to my heart is a waterfall. I'm the sauce. Um, you take me to a beautiful waterfall. That is the key to my heart. I love a waterfall. This is why I love Maui. Maui is like the kingdom of waterfalls. Thank you, Danetta, for the popular vote. Thank you. Um, and this goes back to like choosing where you want to be. I've lived in, I'm from Central California. I lived in Alexandria, Virginia. I lived in Washington, D.C., in the district. I lived in London. I lived in Paris. I lived in New York City. I lived in Newark, New Jersey. Lived in Maui. So I've lived in a bunch of places. I'm not going off of, I think I would like this, I don't like that. I know. And then traveling to all these places. And that's why I say the key to my heart is a waterfall. There's a reason why I chose Maui. It's beautiful. The energy there is also the most beautiful energy ever. Everywhere I've stepped foot on, nothing feels like Maui. Maui is my home. Yeah, and there's waterfalls I can get to in a 10-minute drive or 30. I can be at a waterfall within the hour. I don't care about being at a Neiman Marcus or a Gucci, or I have actually done that. And it's cool, but it's not as satisfying as being out in nature, being in the rainforest, being in the water, taking a hike, listening to the birds, seeing the waterfall, feeling the negative ions come off the waterfall. Negative ions with I'm better than that. Um, Negative ions is like that recharged air that is going like this, circulating around the falling water that's crashing into the body of water by a waterfall. And because that, thank you, Nia, and you saw, wait a minute, body's looking real good. That's also a part of climbing waterfalls and swimming in waterfalls. Keeps the body toned and beautiful. But those negative ions like recharge you in the most optimal way. It is. Like if you have trauma, if you're stressed out and you stand by a waterfall and you let that air hit you and that mist, you are actually like rewiring your whole brain, your body, your cortisol levels, all of that, just by standing by falling water. The same thing happens in the shower. So that's why a lot of times people say, I feel so great in the shower, or I come up with the best ideas in the shower, or you know what, I just need to take a shower. It's the same thought. The shower is the same thing. Those negative ions is what leaves you feeling better, feeling refreshed. So technically, you're receiving the same thing as the waterfall in the shower. But I love a waterfall. Take me to a waterfall I've never seen on some foreign, beautiful island. Like, that's what dreams are made of. But I've also lived in Newark, New Jersey, which I love Newark. I love everywhere I've lived. I love Newark. Newark loved me. Newark kept great care of me. There's a lot of amazing people in all of the places that I've gone to that have always sheltered me or been some sort of safe space. And even in Newark, because Newark, I don't care about the story about Newark, but there's heart everywhere you go. And someone had said, especially in the US, low income is looked at as like low love. If someone does not have the money that you feel is safe and acceptable to you, they are less than. They are less deserving. They are probably less lovable. And I don't know how that will shift, because that's really carried in the US. The US really looks down on what they consider poor people. But financially poor has nothing to do with a person. You cannot have money and you're still a human being and you still deserve human treatment. You still deserve treatment of a human being. It doesn't matter the money that you do or don't have, you're still a human. Class conscious. Jay, stop with all these words. No one knows what that means. And I'm talking about on my YouTube live. As I'm saying this, Jay says the US needs class consciousness. What the hell does that mean? No one knows what that means. I'm sure it means something great. But if you cannot interpret that into a bite-sized piece where someone can understand what that means, it means nothing. And hood means nothing. Wherever people live is just where they live. It doesn't mean that they are less of a human. I don't care how or where someone is living, they're a human being. And this country does have that, where if you have less than, then you're bad, or you're less than, or you're lazy, all of this. No, humans are humans. They do deserve the elements of being treated and respected as such, no matter where they live. So living in Newark, there were parts that were areas that I like grew compassion, because there's more people that have the experience of living in Newark or these areas that are impoverished in many ways, impoverished with no, he doesn't have to be muted, Nia, he's okay. Impoverished in schools, impoverished in social services, and they are still human beings. And you can feel that environment. You can feel that environment when someone feels less than. And in Newark, was it Overbrook Park? There was a park that I would go to with my niece who lives in New York. And we would ride bikes. I would rollerblade, she would ride her bike. We would always find water. I always find water. And ride by the water. There was plants. It was such River Park. No, River something, River Park. Same in London. In London, in the mornings, and jogging and running has always been like something I've done because I can do it anywhere. I would go to Wanstead Flats, which was near me in Forest Gate. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you for the heart me. You can save you. Nothing can save us. There's no one that saves us collectively. You save yourself, and in saving yourself, we have all been saved. Jay. And saving yourself is a way of thought. Wanstead Flats, I would go run. I would run around. It was this huge park, like twice. It was the equivalent to a 5-mile jog path. Thank you, Nia. Yes, tap the screen, tap the screen, share the live. I'm on both platforms, long form and short form. So there I would run 5 miles, and there would be parks, there's trees. I would always find water. In DC, these are all my jogs through my life. In DC, I would jog down to the Capitol, and along the Capitol, past the White House. It was really nice in April with the cherry blossoms in DC, the DC cherry blossoms. And I would find the water. Maybe I would go down to the waterfront, but I would only really do the waterfront. Thank you, Serenity. Um, when I was based in London and laying over in DC. So in Virginia, where did I jog to? I was near Old Town, Alexandria. And then my layovers, I would always do jogs, but um, I love being by water. And that's what I was saying. The waterfall. Like Newark was cool, but Hawaii is better. I want to be by the waterfall, and it does mean so much to be outside. And I've said this even with New York. You know, I don't like New York. I don't think it's that great of a city. It has its points, but it's not that great. Everything about New York is inside. So inside you have your restaurants, your shopping, your art, your fashion, all of these buildings inside, they're beautiful. But outside, even though you have Central Park, the parks are gross, they stink, people are peeing, there's bodies floating in the river, like the outdoors is just gross. So during the pandemic, when everything was shut and you can't really go outside, New York is a zombie town. And that was also confirmation because I had moved to Maui November 2019. And I had felt this push. Thank you for liking the lives. To go, I know when I'm ready to go. And I do believe a lot of times when things, they're not falling apart, but we've learned our lesson in that way. And it's time to go. Sometimes just movement of a location, a different apartment building, a different city, state, town. Movement is good. Then your body has to change. You see things differently, like you have to readjust. So I moved to Hawaii 2019, November 2019. And then the pandemic happened. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for sharing some time with me. So when the pandemic happened, I was flying just a little. I will, thank you. Meaning there was times in my flying career where I flew a lot. Like I would fly like 6 trips a month, sometimes more. And that's another thing. Thank you for the Go Popular, Nia. Another thing, especially in the US, the thought of like 5-figure a month. I'm on TikTok. Hope is speaking TikTok. I'm on TikTok live right now as well. The thought of like 10K a month, 10,000 a month, that's over $100,000 a year. But like, that's the start. It's even having 10K a month and seeing like that's not that much, like for what I really want to do. Thank you, Paper Chaser. For what I really want to do, 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month, you can't just go and buy a property in full. Of course, you can take time and stack and save, but if you really thought, if you had the option, like, yeah, well, maybe like 100 grand a month. Most people won't even think in that way because it's like, well, first of all, why do I need 100 grand? That would never happen to me. What would that feel like? I would probably lose it. People would hate me. Yeah, but you can form ways to do that differently. So Nia, again, that's another space of learning. If you're thinking in just self-employed, of course, or taxes in that way, but it's not always 40%. You can buy your home in your trust. You can be paid through a trust. Like, there's ways around. Again, if you don't know this, the thought is, oh, I'm going to lose all this money. What I'm saying is, with every level, there's new knowledge. And someone may say, oh, this is how I structure my finances. And after 100 grand, why not 1 million a month? Why not 10 million? If I had, okay, 1 million a month, that's 12. Let's say technically, like Nia said, that's 40. So 12, give or take, that's 4 to 5 million. Okay, well, how about I do 100 million? Like, it's the reality. Because I saw something and I thought, Pete, this is what I say. Most people do not think highly of themselves in the space of they don't allow themselves to dream. Saying, wow, I am making 100 million a month. So many people would be afraid to say that. 100 million. Well, first of all, why would I want 100 million? Anyone who has 100 million is bad. I don't think I have the smarts to make 100 million. I don't think people would like me, and I don't like people who have 100 million. So I don't want to even see what that feels like. How do you know you weren't put here to be the person in your lineage to be that? Because I say that, like, yeah, 100 million minimum. 100 million. And I'm saying this because I saw a piece of content and someone said, what would it take right now? How much would change your life? How much money right now would change your life? Immediately I go to the comments and I'm looking at the comments and it's like, oh, 20 grand would change my life. 50,000, give or take. This would never happen, but 100,000 would pay off my student loans and leave me a little to go travel. And I thought, exactly, 2 billion, exactly. And I thought, you only have to just dream. If your dream is what amount of money will change your life and you think 50 grand, all you assume that you could have is 50 grand, that says more about your ability to dream, because it's just a dream. Whether it's 50 grand or 50 trillion, it's just the thought. It's not confirmed true. I'm just going to confirm the one more, because why would I have less? Thank you, Paper Chaser. I do too. Why would I ever have less? And looking at those comments, I immediately thought, okay, 100 million would change my life. What do you mean 50? 50 grand wouldn't change your life. 50 grand wouldn't even buy you a house. 50 grand would not set you up for the rest of your life. 100 million sets you and at least 4 generations up for the rest of their lives. Like, you've changed the entire course of your lineage. 100 million, you would be able, let's just say it's you. Let's say you have a home, average home. I don't know. We'll say 300,000, 400,000, you pay off your home. You pay off any debt. It's not like you have a lot of debt. Even your a lot is not a lot if you have 100 million. Let's say you have a lot. Let's say you went to medical school. You have 400,000. Okay, you've paid off the 400,000 medical school debt, 400,000 house, give or take, let's say 50 credit card debt. You still haven't even paid $1 million. Now, here's the other thing, and this is what, again, with new levels of wealth and just money, you understand. You have to be taught this. And that's not even 2 million. That's like $1 million. 400,000 for a house, 400,000 for your debt, 50 grand for credit card debt. That's not even $1 million. But here's the other thing. If you have 100 million, what is that? Like 5 million? You're making 5 million just off of 5% interest. You're just without you doing anything. And this is why amassing wealth like this creates more wealth. When people say money making money, the thing is, the more you make without having to make it. So just the fact that you have, let's say, even 10 million, just off of 10 million, just off of your interest, with doing nothing, that 10 million is going to make you 500,000. Just nothing. You could pay yourself that every year. I only spend the interest I'm making off of my money. So 100 million, let's say 5 million a year. If you've been living at 40,000 a year, having 5 million, you actually don't even understand how much that is. But once you have it, you understand how much it isn't. It will take you having it to understand, like, oh, okay. Because at that point, again, you're thinking differently. If you're always thinking in, thank you for getting the likes up to over 10,000. I see you liking the live paper chaser. Thank you, Nia, and thank you, Nia, for always engaging. You always engage, and I enjoy your comments because we are bouncing off of each other. Buying boring businesses, which would be like buying a laundromat. So you could buy a laundromat for like 150, ensure that it has Wi-Fi, a place for people to sit, maybe a soda machine. Now you're not generating millions, but you could easily generate 60,000 a year for the entirety of that laundromat. Again, these are different ways of thinking, especially when larger amounts of money are around you. If you're not around this, you would never think of this. You wouldn't know, like, oh, I'm making money from my money, or I can invest that. I could buy a business. I don't have to start a business. I could just buy a business that's already operating. And then I kind of kick back, or I can travel, or I could go back to school. But that shifts that thought. And seeing that piece of content where one person said, if you could have any amount of money, yeah. I mean, those businesses are great. Boring businesses are great. Barbershops, or now even buying the buildings and chopping them into like salon suites, because you can just buy the building, chop it up into salon suites and rent it out and pay someone to manage it. You don't have to be the person that does it all. You can be the person that essentially funds it and pays someone to run it or find people to rent it. You are still generating that income. And I talk about this because my dad was an entrepreneur, and money can be made in so many ways. It doesn't have to always be you doing it, like bootstrapping and doing everything, answering the phones, being the man. Nah, if I got that much, I'll just pay the person to do it. I'm still the proprietor. I'm still going to generate income from it. And any amount of money, people are like 20 grand, that won't change your life. It may change a few months, but it won't change your life. And that thinking of, my expanded thinking, I'm always going to think more. The problem with loving yourself is, why not have more? Yeah. And again, employing people is like a skill. Maybe, again, you are the person that employs a manager that employs people. Like, basically, you are employing the manager, but you may not have the strongest skill set for managing people. Um, so 100 million. 100 million. I'm asking for more. I'm asking for my life to be completely changed. Not a week, a few months. And then living life like it's completely changed. Thank you for continuing to like the live. We're getting up to 20 grand. We're just going to keep it up. Um, and allowing yourself to dream. Yeah. And helping yourself is helping others. Like there's that. Some people aren't going to be generous and help out the community. So what? Maybe that's not in their heart. I'm not ever blaming anyone for what they're not, who they aren't. I will only do what I want. So if someone says, Hope, can you vouch for me? And I don't like you, no, I'm not going to do that because my heart's not in it. It's empty. It doesn't have integrity. And I remember there was a time where a person said, Hey, can you vouch for me? And I was like, no. No matter what the history is, I'm not doing it from a space of integrity, of wanting to do it. I'm doing it for you. And I choose not to do that. I do things that I am passionate about or I feel driven to do. But I'm not just going to do something to people please. You know? Um, yeah. Listen, the community is always going to be okay. The community will be okay. There are those that will serve it. But I don't know why. You know what, guys? I'm going to restart the live. We got this to over 11,000 because I don't know why the numbers are so low. But I'm going to go have a tea and then come back on the live. I am Paper Chaser. I am. And I know it. And I know it. And I was thinking about that because sometimes it is difficult. Thank you, Mike, for joining. It is difficult because I know my worth and I won't stand for BS. And it is difficult. I can love you. I can care about you. I can love the feeling that we have when we're around each other. And no, you aren't giving me what I need. In fact, you know you aren't giving me what I need. And I'll be honest, not everybody is a one in a million. A lot of y'all are like boring. I know actually that I'm a really unique individual. Um, in the sense that because of my childhood, I had a good childhood. I'm not really walking around with heaviness. But either way, if it ain't it, I'm gone. And that can be hard. And that can be hard just sitting with the fact of caring for someone, appreciating someone, loving someone, and still knowing this isn't exactly it. So if this isn't exactly it, I have to go and get what's exactly it. So yeah, Nia, I'm going to reset. I'm going to go off and go and drink some water and do a few things and come back probably within the hour. So they have, but I always typically have more. So I will be back. This has been a fun live though. It's been really fun. How long have we been on here? Yeah, no way. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you. Even we're at 57 minutes and we're at 20. Next live. We're at 12,000, over 12,000 likes. Thank you. Thank you, Paper Chaser. Thank you, Nia. And Nia, 1212, he's okay. He does make a lot of his comments, but he's okay. Thank you for being a moderator. You are on it, Nia. I appreciate you because we do have some poopy heads that sometimes come into my live and they try to be what they try to be, and you always get to it really quick. So I really appreciate you. As I shared, Paper Chaser, you've seen Nia. Anyone else has seen Nia in my lives, and she is expanding, such a prominent entrepreneur, and she has digital products about land ownership. So listen, we're all expanding. The fact that you're thinking about that and you're putting out products about that means it's already yours. You're already lining up with that version, Nia, because you are that version, and I'm very proud of you. I've seen your growth. And regardless of what you're going through, you're doing a great job. So I'm going to reset. I'll be back. Thank you for liking the live. I'll see you.